and double board certified physician. And today I am ecstatic to have with me Simmi Latulippe, and I'm going to let her introduce herself.
Thank you, Dr. Ann. It's a pleasure to be with you. So I am an Ayurvedic Medicine Practitioner, clinical nutritionist, and a menopause coach. My foundations of my coaching are to teach women how to listen to the whispers of their body so that their body never has to scream. Unfortunately, in North America, we are programmed to wait for the scream and then we react. Often when we hear a scream, it's too late. We're at that chronic stage and it takes so much longer to heal. Whereas if we listen to the subtle whispers of the body and we did the little tweaks the body wanted us to do, there wouldn't be any screams in the body. So I love to share my gifts that I have, my wisdom that I have, my energetic healing methods that I have with women to show, especially during menopause, how much they can heal themselves without having to take medications. But of course, if women have to take HRT, then hormone replacement therapy, if that feels right for them, that's wonderful if it works. And then there's a time when they slowly have to come off HRT. So again, finding the balance in your own body, mind, and spirit in your menopausal transition.
That sounds beautiful, and I want to hear about the whisper symptoms.
Yes. For women, we're programmed to always give so much of ourselves to others. So we keep giving and giving and giving ourselves. And then sometimes we forget to actually receive. And first of all, the first thing we have to even check for ourselves and ask ourselves, are we able to receive? Do we have maybe a stickiness or something stuck or a blockage in the heart? Are we worthy to receive? Am I able to receive? Some deep questions we have to ask ourselves. So if we keep giving ourselves to everything else, to our family, to our friends, to our animals, whatever it may be, we start to get depleted. And when we get depleted, we lose our vitality. So our vitality in Ayurvedic medicine is our Agni, our prana, our chi. We lose that beautiful essence of ourselves. And it takes a long time to build vitality if you've lost it. So I think the art of listening is to be able to receive. Not to feel guilty if you're taking time for yourself. And then also not to feel guilty if you actually take time to do nothing, if you're in complete stillness and you take that time to listen. So stopping all the going, all the doing, and coming into a still point where you can really listen to the whispers of your body.
So, what are your thoughts about how a lady can prepare? Because this can be a significant transition. How would one best prepare for this transition?
Right? As we know in life, the better prepared we are, the better the results. An example, you're writing an exam. If you study for the exam, you'll probably do quite well. But if you go into the exam blindly, you probably won't do as well. Well, menopause is the same. And then in Ayurvedic medicine, we actually prepare women, body, mind, and soul for the menopausal transition. So a few key points that we can touch on. One is your central nervous system. How are your adrenal glands? How are you managing stress? Some questions to ask yourself, because if you are very stressed, if you're that hamster on the wheel that keeps running and running and running, I will guarantee you will be blindsided by every menopausal symptom under the umbrella. I think there's over 100. So everything from brain fog, hot flashes, weight gain, digestive issues, everything, insomnia, those symptoms that women have, but you don't have to have. But again, you have to see, well, how is my central nervous system? How am I handling stress? What are my adrenal glands saying to me? And then, of course, the digestive system. How is your digestion? In Ayurveda, digestion is the key for any sort of prevention in disease patterns. So, are you having regular bowel movements? Are you not having any symptoms of bloating, gassiness, acid reflux, heartburn? All those things are whispers from your body saying something's not right with digestion. So, central nervous system, digestion, and a big one that we often forget is our lymphatics. So, our lymphatic tissues. So, circulation in the body is key, especially as we go through perimenopause and menopause, because you don't have to have night sweats, you don't have to have hot flashes. But the key is you have to have proper circulation. The lymph nodes have to make sure that there's no knots, there's no tension, that there's proper circulation throughout the lymphatic tissues throughout the whole body. And there's some very easy, free, evidence-based exercises that you can do to encourage lymphatic flow. So that's a big one that we often forget. So I think the three key takeaways to prepare for menopause is central nervous system, digestion, and your lymphatics.
I remember a long time ago in medical school, quite a long time ago, they told us that the gut was the second brain. Didn't make a whole lot of
Yes.
sense back then. But now we've come to find out that the gut health is central to everything. I mean, most of the serotonin in the body is
Yes.
made in the gut. And
That's right.
for just as an example, most people have heard of Prozac. Well, Prozac is in a class of drugs called SSRI, selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors. And so your serotonin level deals with your mood. And if your
Mhm.
gut, which produces serotonin, is off, you could actually have significant anxiety and depression just because your gut is off. And that's
Correct.
just the tip of the iceberg. The immune system, there's, I think, a cell between the gut and the immune tissue.
Right.
And it's just extremely important. And what you mentioned about some symptoms that the gut is off, the bloating, the constipation issues, and so forth, that is something that we were not really trained to think the gut and the brain, they go hand in hand. There's actually what we call the gut brain axis that there are these signals back and forth between them.
Right.
So that's very substantial, and I appreciate that. But before we go further, I want you to go back and explain this form of medicine. I learned about it personally years ago because I took care of so many people who came to the hospital with side effects of taking too much pain medicine, anti-inflammatories. They were bleeding internally. They had side effects of taking their blood thinner, almost bleeding to death. I mean, I've seen so many side effects of medications that I started delving into the more natural things. And that's how I learned about it. And I still have a hard time. Is it Ayurvedic?
Yes, that's right.
Okay, all right.
Beautiful.
Okay. So explain to people exactly what that is.
Sure. So Ayurveda is said to be one of the oldest medical systems in the world. It's over 5,000 years old with its origins in India. Ayurveda is very much of a preventative and customized, personalized medicine approach. So, for diagnostics, for example, we look at pulse. So, I check your pulse, and I check your pulse not the way just for the heart rate, the way allopathic doctors do. I check your pulse for deficiencies. So, all of your organs are on your pulse. So, I can check your adrenals, I can check your liver, I can check the heart, but also I check your dosha. Dosha in Ayurvedic medicine is your constitution. So, similar to blood type, we're born with either O, A, B doshas. You're born with either Vata, Pitta, or Kapha. You can be a combination of the doshas, and that determines you from your mother and your father. So, similar to blood type, it's in your DNA, it's how you're born. But there's a whole lifestyle practice that goes together with the doshas. So, for example, talking about menopause, if you're a Vata dosha, being preventative, you know when you come into perimenopause, you're going to have more issues with anxiety, brain fog, insomnia. So, if you already know this ahead of time, you can do certain things, of course, to prevent it from happening. If you're a Pitta dosha, you'll have more menopausal symptoms of heartburn, heart issues, and then you have to be careful of sudden ailments like a stroke, for example, or a heart attack. So for women who are pittas, you have to pay more attention to the heart. And then the kapha types. So kapha types coming into perimenopause have to pay more attention to filling themselves up. They turn to suffer from chronic fatigue, burnout, lethargicness. So they have to make sure that they keep to nourishing themselves from the inside out. So again, Ayurveda believes the more you know about the inner workings of yourself, the better equipped you are to heal yourself. And as you had mentioned, with the medical system, we only have 10 or 15 minutes with our medical doctor, our family doctor. That's not really enough time to really delve deep into what's going on with you. So nowadays, you really have to be your own best doctor and advocate for yourself. And if you know what's happening in your body and you're listening to those whispers of the body, you're so much better equipped to actually heal yourself and then do the work that your body requires.
All right. Thank you so much for that very detailed explanation. I didn't understand all of that um,
It's
prior.
in my program. It's in my course. I go through in depth exactly what all the doshas are, how women can equip themselves
Mhm.
perimenopause before they go into menopause. It's everything's there for them.
Oh, I was saying that I have been researching Ayurvedic medicine supplements and so forth a while. I'm saying I was not aware of all those different steps that you just mentioned. So I just wanted to thank you for elucidating that. So let's talk a little bit about postmenopause.
So post-menopause, what Ayurveda believes, this is the time for women to truly give back to themselves. Hopefully in postmenopause, the children have grown, so they're out of the house, they've launched. You're maybe finished taking care of family members and you have more time to give back to yourself. So that piece of self-care is very important. At that time, when you have time to take care of yourself, you become a little bit more curious and you ask some deeper questions. Who am I? What is my purpose? And that stage of postmenopause is where women start to really find what brings them joy. What can they do in their lives to contribute and volunteer and give back to the world in a bigger way? They have a little bit more time to be able to give for organizations, to back to family as well. But they also have to remember that postmenopause, as they're giving so much of themselves to others, they have to keep a piece back to themselves. They have to be able to receive themselves. So, asking the deeper questions of what is my purpose? Who am I? What brings me joy? Those are all legacies that women like to leave as they come into that postmenopausal stage. It's no more about people pleasing. Those 30, 40, 50 years old we were when we had to, we wanted to know what people thought of us. We wanted to please people. After postmenopause, you're at that stage where you just don't care anymore. You know what you've accomplished. You've done what you have to do. You're at that beautiful place of life now where you can just be in stillness, just take care of yourself, feed yourself with happiness and joy, and do what makes you you.
Okay. All right. So I have one more question. We're going to delve into trauma and menopause.
Mhm. So as we come into ourselves, we usually find that there's some sort of tension or holding or blockages in the body. So I teach trauma informed psychology. And what I've been teaching for now 7 years is how to heal your traumas. First, you have to find out where those traumas are being stored. So I use the chakra system, so the root chakra all the way up to the crown chakra. And then we investigate, and I walk you through each of those places to see what you're holding. Trauma is something that's very personalized and very deep, and it's not one size fits all. It's working with a skilled practitioner and working to release where those blockages are for you. For some people, it can be in the heart, as we talked about, for receiving. For some people, it can be in the root chakra, and that can be that place of grounding and rooting and making sure you feel safe, you feel secure. So the trauma part is a time when a lot of women find that during perimenopause, menopause, things start to come up. And women have to learn that they don't have to do it on their own. Don't be afraid to ask for help. It takes a village to help women. It's not just one size fits all. And you have to find that practitioner, that person that can help and guide you safely and into that healing space where the magic starts to happen and those blockages of trauma start to release in the body. As we know, when there's a blockage, there's no flow. When there's no flow, that's when disease can start to manifest. So in order to keep, and we talked about that in the very beginning about lymphatic tissue and circulation, and that's all about flow. So when you find that there's something that's the body's whispering to you that you're holding on to, and it can be, from childhood, it can be from a recent experience. And we always like to say there's two types of trauma. Small T trauma, where it's trauma still, but it's nothing too severe. And then there's big T trauma, which can take years to actually start to break down. And that's why trauma is very unique to the person and has to be worked at a very safe and high level.
All right. So this has been extremely informative. I thank you so very much for being on the show. How do you want people to reach out to you if they want more information about your courses or just about you in general?
Thank you for that, Dr. Ann. I have a free masterclass on my website, which will be linked to in the comments. So please go ahead and watch that masterclass because it's a lot about what we talked on this podcast. And then you can reach out to me via my website if you'd like to share some more information or if you'd like to book virtual appointments. And then I have my biohacking menopause webinars, as well as the actual course that's there for you as well.
Okay. That sounds wonderful. Again, thank you so very much for your time, and you have a very blessed day.
And thank you very much too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.